Hello everyone, Tracy here with Paper Classic Designs, and today I am going to do a different video. This is to assemble the maple leaf block that we're doing in the class for the maple leaf runner in class. So this is the block that we're going to make, and I'm going to show you how to put all of these pieces together. We are also going to use the kitty cornered ruler, and the instructions for this ruler are the same for the winter star table runner that we're doing in November. It's a little bit bigger, but it is the same instructions for this piece. So let's go ahead and get started. For your leaf runner, maple leaf runner, for one block, you're going to need your background 1, background 2, background 3, and background 4. You're also going to need your stem piece, and you're going to need leaf A, leaf B, and leaf C. So we're going to start with the kitty corner, and I'm going to move these off, and then we'll get started. So the kitty corner tool is pretty easy to use once you figure it out. It has all the instructions in 2 places, and it makes a precise block, and I really like this tool, but it does take a minute to get used to it, so we'll just go really slow. So the first thing that you have is you have your printed instructions right here. You also have some instructions on your ruler. So if whoops, I'm turning it upside down. So right here it says step 1, if you can see that, then step 2, step 3, and your trim edge. It also has the measurements. So you need 2 different blocks to make this block. If we're doing the leaf block, we are making the 3-inch block. Yeah, we're doing the 3-inch block on the leaf. So you would cut your first unit, your A piece, which says leaf A, to the 3-inch finished block size, so you're going to cut it at 4 inches. Your second piece, which is B, is going to be, we want the 3-inch block, so we want 3 times 4.5 inches. 4 1/4, excuse me. This is your background 4 piece if you're doing the leaf. If you're doing the winter star table runner, we are actually going to do a 6-inch block. So your star piece, which I think is going to be piece 2, but I'm not positive, but it'll be the 6-inch block, is going to be the 7-inch printed piece. It will be this piece right here, and that is a 7 by 7 block. And the background piece, your unit B, is going to be the 6-inch block, so you want the 4.5 by 7 1/4, and that is these pieces right here. So let's do the leaf one. The instructions are the same for the star. So the first thing you do is we're going to start with step 1, and we are cutting unit A, which is this kite piece right here. So I've got leaf A. Doesn't matter which color you're doing, they're all going to be the same. We are going to fold this in half. It says fold square diagonally and place fold on this line. So I'm going to fold it in half, and it doesn't matter if you do right sides together or wrong sides together. Just put it under the iron, and you're going to get that that fold line. Now we're going to take our ruler, and it says place the fold on this line. We're on step 1. So I'm going to take that line, and I've placed the corner of the ruler right onto the corner of the fold. And then the line goes all the way down the edge of that piece of paper, or excuse me, I'm so used to doing videos with paper, along that edge of the fabric. Then we're going to take our rotary cutter, and we're just going to cut right along this edge of the ruler. These are scraps. You don't need these, but you can save them for another project. I'm thinking I'm going to do something with these. Don't know yet. And then you can open this up, and there is your kite piece for your kitty corner. The next piece that we need is the background piece, and it is the, oops, it's piece B on the ruler. It's unit B. On your cut piece, it's background number 4. And you have to cut these mirrored. So you have to cut 2 of them at a time, and it will give you enough for 2 blocks on this piece. We'll give you 2 blocks because they need to be mirrored. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that they are all even. And it doesn't matter if they're right sides together or wrong sides together, but they do need to be opposite. And we're going to go to step 2. And there is a little notch right at the corner. And we're going to take that little notch and we're going to line it right up along the top edge of our fabric. And then it says align left edge of rectangle to this line. So if you can see that, there is the line that I've lined the left edge to. This notch up here should be about the same as this notch down here. And we're just going to go ahead and cut that. And now you have pieces for 2 blocks. So I'm going to do step 3. And step 3 is lining up your fabric and trimming this little edge off. So there's 2 lines right here. It's called a saddle. And we're going to put that saddle right along the lines of the block. And this is a step I forget a lot. So make sure that you do that. And you can see the edge of my fabric is right along that line, and the bottom of my fabric is right along this line. If you're doing the winter star, it's going to hang out, your fabric's going to hang out over here, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's just this edge that we need to worry about. So line up this line, take your rotary cutter, and just snip that little piece off. Those can go in the garbage. Okay, next we're going to bring over our kite piece, and we're going to finish this block. And you're kind of tempted to put it like this, but that is not correct. We want it to be a square, and that's why these 2 pieces need to be mirrored. So I'm going to put this one right along here, and this one right along here. And you can tell that when it's all sewed, it's going to be a square. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold this over and match this clipped edge with the straight edge of our kite. And I'm kind of working around the arm of the camera. And we're going to go ahead and sew that, and then I'm going to press it towards the background fabric. So let me turn off the camera, and I will do that, and then I will be right back. Okay, so there it is. It's got a 1/4 inch seam, and the seam is folded to the background of my square. So now I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to you'll notice that you have a little tail. That's okay. Keep that tail for now. We'll trim it down. Then we're going to take this block and put right sides together and flip it over and stitch it from the back. So make sure everything still lines up. And I'm going to take it over to the machine and sew that at a 1/4 inch and then press it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so there it is. That's that side, 1/4 inch seam. This is what it's going to look like on the back. Each edge is pressed towards the background, and we still have this little tail. So now we're going to trim it. We're going to bring out our kitty cornered ruler again, and we are on the last step, which says trim 1 and trim 2. So I'm going to hold this up really close so you can see it. There's a little saddle right there, 2 little lines that are at an angle. The tip of that is going to fit right in there where our 2 pieces come together, our 2 background pieces. So hopefully you can see this. So I'm going to bring this right up here. And you're going to first put that saddle right in the corner of your kite piece. And then you want to make sure that this line, this center line, is running straight and it comes through the corner of your kite right here. So we've got the saddle matching, we've got the kite, the line through the top of the kite, and we're going to trim both sides. This is why I like my rotary mat. So I've trimmed that side. I'm going to flip it over here, holding it so it doesn't move, and trim that side. And that is trim 1. Now we're going to flip it over, and this is where the precision comes. We're going to do trim 2, but instead of matching this line, we're now going to match the line on the bottom. This is a 3-inch block, so we need the 3-inch line, and we're going to line it up right along both edges of the block where we've already cut. So you can see that there's my edge. It's right on the 3. The center line is straight and it points towards the middle of the kite. And now we can just trim those 2 sides. And there is a perfectly sized kitty corner block. Again, same thing if you're doing the winter star. We'll add this stuff, you'll learn about that later, but same thing if you're doing this one. It's going to be the same steps. You're just doing the 6-inch square, so you're going to start with the 7-inch centerpiece. Okay, let's go ahead and set that aside, and now we can start to lay out our maple leaf block. So here's the instructions, and we're going to start with the piecing, and it tells you what you need for each block, for each leaf. Let's come down to stem unit, and it says cut the 2.5 background square on the diagonal. So the 2.5 background square is background number 3. So you're going to take one of those, and we're going to lay it on our mat, and I'm just going to use the, oh my goodness, where did it go? My ruler. Sorry, there we go. I'm just going to use my skinny ruler, and I'm going to lay it corner to corner and cut, except I want the back side. Lay it corner to corner and then just cut right along that edge. Just like that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a stem piece. And the stem piece is your 3 1/4 by 3 1/2, and I'm going to lay it flat, and I'm going to take one of my diagonal or my triangles, and I'm going to line it straight along that left edge. I'm going to pin it, and then I'm going to sew 1/4 inch. So once again, I will be right back. All right, so I have sewed that on. Doesn't matter which way it goes, and it's kind of looking funky, but that's okay. We're going to trim it up. Now we're going to take this second triangle, and we're going to place it along the other edge of this stem, and I'm going to go ahead and sew that at 1/4 inch as well. All right, there's our stem block, and it's got the stem is pressed towards the background. And we are going to follow the instructions, and it says take the diagonal line of your kitty corner tool along the center stem as shown and trim 2 sides. So we're going to take this, where'd it go? This diagonal line that's on the trim, and I'm going to just line it up so that it's on the edge of the background, and that center line goes right down the middle of the brown piece of my stem. And we're going to go ahead and trim both sides. Okay, then the instructions say Turn the unit 180 degrees and align the trim edge with the 1.5 inch markings on the tool and trim the other side. So I'm going to take this, and these two edges that I just cut, I'm going to line up on the 1/2 inch line, 1.5, sorry. Again, make sure your diagonal line is straight. And then we're going to trim those other two edges. Oh, but I bumped that just a hair. We're going to trim those two edges. That is your stem piece. And now we're done with the kitty cornered ruler, so you can put that aside. The next piece that you're going to do is these edge pieces or leaf pieces. Oh, it's getting dark. Sun must have gone down. So you'll need 6 of your B1, or yeah, leaf B piece. And these are the 2 by 3.5, and you're going to need 6 of them. So let's go ahead and lay them out. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. You also are going to need 6 of your 2 by 2 pieces from the background. So we need 6 of these. This is background 2, and it's the 2 by 2. And we need 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we want these to go in opposite directions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn, well, I'm just going to show you 2 of them. So we've got 2 different ways to do this. What this is called is a cornered rectangle. And so we're going to lay our piece, let me hold this up so you can see it. We're going to lay our background piece on top of our leaf piece. And then we need to sew on the diagonal and trim this piece off. And there's 2 different ways to do it. So I'm going to show you both, and you can decide which way you want it. You can just take a regular ruler and draw a line, corner to corner on the background. Make sure everything's lined up. Then pin it and take it to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew on that red line. So that's just using your straight ruler. You can also do it with the corner clipper tool. So on the corner clipper tool, it has these little notched out edges. Next way is we're going to use the corner clipper tool. So to do this one, I'm going to lay it right along this edge, and I'm going to place this line along the 2-inch mark. I'm going to draw my diagonal line along the edge. Actually, I'm not even going to draw it. I'm just going to cut it. So forget that. We're going to cut it. Pin it. And now when I sew, I'm going to sew right along a 1/4 inch along that edge, just like I would any other block. So it's going to get a straight seam. But we also need to do these in the opposite direction. So for this one, where I'm going to draw it, I would take my ruler, and this time I'm going to go from the right top to the bottom left. And on this one, with the kitty corner tool, it's a little more tricky, because you want to do it this way, but we need the line to go that way. So I'm going to kind of flip this over and line it up on the side down here. Whoops, that was not. Let me pull it back in front of the camera. So instead of doing it this way, we want the cut line to go from the right top to the bottom left. So I'm just going to rotate this 90 degrees and lay my ruler, except that's not lined up. And line my ruler on this side. So there's my 2-inch mark. And I'm just going to cut it. Keep your corners. You can use those for half square triangles. And then I'm going to pin it, and I'm going to sew from corner to corner, but I'm going to use my edge as my 1/4 inch guide. So I will go sew those, and I'll be right back. So now we have all of these sewn, and we have them in the 2 different angles. So one's going to the right, one's going to the left. If you did the corner clipper tool, it's already cut for you, and then there's your seam line. You're just going to press that and open up like that. And if you haven't done that, if you just drew the line and sewed, I missed a little bit, you're going to go ahead and just cut that. So we're going to take our ruler, and I'm going to put the edge of, or the 1/4 inch line right along that corner right there. And then we're going to just trim the edge. And we're going to slide that over there. And then the same with this one. We're going to just flip it over. And then this one we're going to trim. So I'm going to turn it this way because I'm right-handed. I'm going to put my 1/4 inch seam right along that line. And then cut that off. When you press those opened, you want to press them opposite. So let's look at our instructions. And the one that is pointing to the right, we are going to press that so that the seam is towards the solid color or the leaf color. So I would flip it over, I would press it, and then I would press it this way, and that way the seam is pointed down. And on these, we would do just the opposite. We're going to set the seam right here, fold it over and press it up so that the seam is pointed that way. So I'm going to go press these, and then I will be right back. Okay, so here's my blocks, and I will show you that the ones with the corner clipper, I think were a little more accurate than the ones where I just drew the line. But either way will work. So there is the ones that point to the left, and here are the ones that point to the right. So let me show you all of the blocks that we have now finished. So we have these with the corner edge, we have our stem, and we have our kitty cornered block. So that is everything that you need to have done. And then in the next video, I will show you how to assemble your leaf block. Thank you for joining me today.